Once all of your pencil lines have been erased, you're going to start using oil pastels to add color to your picture. Now, if you would like, go back to that plan you had and think about the different colors that you'll need on your portrait. I would use colored pencils on the plan, but once you get to the big paper, use oil pastels. If you're comfortable moving straight onto here and you don't think you need to plan out your colors with the plan, you can go straight with oil pastels here. If you've forgotten what something is, check your plan, look over the things that you used. Now my head is a pancake and the wiggly line is syrup. So my color should be a little bit different from the syrup and the pancake. The syrup will be a little bit darker. If you need to test a color because you're not sure how the mixed color will look, there are little scrap pieces of paper up front that you can use to try testing out some color mixing. So to make a brown, there should be some browns in your pastel box, and they may be dirty, which is one reason why we don't want to peel all the paper off the oil pastels, because then the whole pastel gets dirty like this. Pastels are very, very soft, so they will get on your fingers, but that also means that they will mix really nicely together. Alright, so I found some kind of yellows and browns, and I'm just going to kind of test out what they look like. If your pastel's really dirty, you can kind of rub it along the sides to clean off any little stuff that's on it. So this might be a nice pancake color. I gotta figure out how to mix my color together to make almost like a syrup color. So maybe these two colors mixed. So you can see I started with the dark color and I pressed lighter, and then I went in with the lighter color and pushed hard. It blends it pretty easily, and I can even use circles while I'm doing it. So I'm coloring lightly again for where I'm going to have my syrup. And then I'm going to take the other color and mix it on top. So it looks a little bit darker than just the pancake color. And if I need to, I can go back and add a little bit more of that dark color on top. It's kind of hard, I keep reaching up really high. I'm going to spin my paper so it's easier to reach. Also use this yellow for my egg. Now, something that happens with oil pastels is as you press hard, which you need to do if you want it to show up nice and bright, it makes all these little crumbs that if you smudge them on your paper, it messes your paper up quite a bit. So every once in a while, instead of taking your hand and brushing it, which is going to smear your picture, just take your paper and tap it. A whole bunch of crumbs just fell. Then take your hand and kind of brush them into your hand. You can dump them in the trash can. Now, anything you want to keep white, like this white of my egg, I do need to color white so the oil pastel doesn't smear into it later. You might get parts like right here where it's the yellow smeared into the white a little bit. It's okay. It makes it look like there's some shadow and some area of interest. But don't leave it just plain paper. That makes it messy. Same thing here. If you find the crumbs are sticking, you can kind of gently tap it. But again, don't brush your hands back and forth. I just realized how much brown is in my picture. Kind of wish I'd planned my colors on my paper now. That's why planning is so important. I'm adding a shadow to the bone on my chicken leg so it's not just white. It's more of a tan on one side and white on the other. Now I'm noticing my picture isn't that colorful. I didn't choose a lot of healthy foods. The most colors come from the Cheeto and the donut and the bacon, and they're all kind of that reddish orange color. I wish I had chosen some healthier foods, but I have drips already, so I need to think of something else other than syrup, because I already have a bunch of brown on my picture. I don't want to make the background the same color. I do drink a lot of water. That's a liquid that drips. And water's usually clear, but artists sometimes make water blue colors. So maybe I'll make some blue in the background. That would balance out a lot of the colors in my picture too. So I'll get a blue, a white, and maybe a blue that's a little bit darker for shadows. Now, even though water would just be one color mostly, I want my background to be more interesting than just a solid color. So I'm coloring around some of the drips with the darker blue to give it some shadow, some texture and movement. I'm not pushing too hard with either of the blues because I'm going to go over it with white to lighten it up a little bit more. So you can still see a lot of the paper through the pastels. They look more like crayons than they do pastels right now. Blending in light blues on top of my dark blues. Still leaving a little space for the white. I'm pushing hard in the areas I want to be darker, and I'm staying light in the areas I'm going to mix white on top. If your pastel runs out, peel off a little bit of the paper, but don't peel all of it. Make sure to throw it in the trash. Don't throw it back in the pastel box. So now, since the white's the last color, I'm pushing really hard on top to get rid of any extra paper spaces that are left. I once again have lots of crumbs all over my paper. I'm going to tap it off. Picture's finished. Make sure your name's on the back, and then you're going to turn it in up front.